Today, let's look at valuation based on comparable firms. So firstly, let's look at the valuation multiples. The first valuation multiple is the price-earnings ratio. Okay, the very commonly known PE ratio. So here, as you can see, is the formula for it. So the forward PE is equal to the price over the earnings per share. This can also be the dividend over the earnings per share over the cost of equity minus the growth rate, which can also be the dividend payout rate over RE minus G again. Okay? So we have three different alternatives to calculate the PE ratio, the forward PE. Now, just in case you're confused about what forward means, this clarifies it. So here we can see different types of PE ratios. First, we have the forward PE. So the forward PE is the PE multiple computed based on its forward earnings. So earnings expected over the next 12 months. Okay? And on the other hand, we also have the trailing PE, which is the PE computed using earnings over the prior 12 months. Okay? So prior and next. So forward PE is the next 12 months, trailing PE is the last 12 months. Okay. Excellent. So let's apply this to an exercise. This exercise reads, you notice that firm A has a stock price of $72.06 and EPS of $3.93. Its competitor, firm B, has EPS of $2.13. Estimate the value of a share of firm B's stock using only this data. Okay, so remember, these are comparable firms, okay? Which means that they're both going to have the same sort of multiples, okay? So let's calculate the PE ratio first. Of firm A. So firm A. Okay, so remember the PE ratio is the price over the EPS, so the earnings per share. Now, as you can see here, for firm A, they give us the stock price and the EPS. So that's how we know we need to find out the PE ratio for this one. So if we plug in the numbers, this is 72.06 over 3.93. And if you plug this in your calculator, you should get 18.34. Okay. So not dollars because this is a ratio. So 18.34. Excellent. And now, because remember, they're comparable firms, we can use the PE ratio from firm A for firm B. Okay. So if we rearrange this formula, we can find out the price, okay, or the value of a share. And this is what they're asking us here. Estimate the value of a share of firm B. So they're asking us for P, okay? So we can rearrange this formula for P. And in doing so, we would get PE ratio of firm B times the EPS is equal to the price. Okay? Excellent. So we know the PE ratio, which is 18.34. And they also give us the EPS of firm B, which is 2.13. So we plug in the numbers. And finally, if we plug this in the calculator, we should get that the price of firm B, not of firm B, but of a share of firm B, is equal to 39.06. Excellent. And so that's how you estimate the value of a share of firm B, okay? Using this information only. And finally, we have the second multiple, which is the enterprise value multiple. And this is computed by the value of the firm, so VO or V0, over its EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, etc., equals to the free cash flow, which is the same as this, free cash flow over EBITDA over the weighted average cost of capital minus the growth rate of the free cash flows. Okay? Again, let's apply this to an exercise. This reads, suppose Rocky Shoes and Boots has earnings per share of $2.3 and EBITDA of 30.7 million. Rocky also has 5.4 million shares and debt 125 million. You believe Decker's Outdoor Corporation is comparable to Rocky in terms of its underlying business, but Decker's has little debt. If Decker's has a PE of 13.3 and an enterprise value to EBITDA multiple of 7.4, estimate the value of Rocky's shares using both multiples. Okay. So here we're going to have to use these two multiples, okay, to estimate the value of Rocky's shares, okay? So first we have that the PE ratio is 13.3 and the enterprise value to EBITDA multiple is 7.4, okay? And then we have 7.4. So enterprise value to EBITDA. Okay. Now, because it says you believe that these two firms are comparable, it means we can interchangeably use these multiples for the other company as well. Okay? Excellent. So the first thing to do is to find out the price using the P ratio. Okay? So like in the other exercise where we rearranged the formula, then we do the same. Okay? So we then get the PE ratio times the EPS is equal to the price. Okay? And in our case, this is 13.3 times the EPS, which it says earnings per share 2.3. So times 2.3 is equal to the price. And this should give you $30.59. Okay? So this is theoretically the value of Rocky shares using the PE ratio to compute it. Okay? And now let's use the enterprise value to EBITDA multiple. So remember, the multiple here, this multiple is equal to the value over the EBITDA. So first, what we need to do is we need to find out the value. So V0, again, by rearranging the formula. Okay? So this is the multiple here. Multiple. So again, we do the same sort of rearranging that we did for the PE. So we do multiple times the EBITDA is equal to the value. Okay? So the value is equal to the multiple, which is 7.4, times the EBITDA, which is 30.7 million. Okay? And this should give you 227.2 million. Okay. But this is the value, remember, this isn't the price yet. In order to find the price, we then need to subtract the debt of 125 million and then divide it by the amount of shares there are, which in this case is 5.4 million shares. Only then can you find out the price of each share, okay? And this should give you $18.93. And so this is the price of a share when you use the enterprise value to EBITDA multiple. Now, then it says which estimate is likely to be more accurate. So what do you think? Remember, in the question, it says that Rocky Shoes and Boots has debt of 125 million. On the other hand, it says Deckers has little debt. Okay, which means it has nearly zero debt. And when we computed the price of the share of Rocky, In the first one, we use the PE ratio, and in the second one, when using the EV to EBITDA ratio, we took into account the debt, the 125 debt, okay? Which is very important because, as you can see, because you subtract 125 million debt, it gives us a very different price. So the estimate that's more likely to be accurate is the second one because of the amount of debt, okay? So due to the difference in debt, between them, the second estimate is more reliable. Excellent. So let me know down in the comments if this is clear, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.